My name is James, coming to you from EcoWhizz, and I'm just wanting to introduce you to our farmers package of our 500 gram PlantosVerde, which is high in calcium, and our 1 liter Eco Fish, which is high in NPK.
Alright, so I just want to speak a little bit about maintaining and cultivating healthy soil. So here in South Africa, often what we have to deal with is sandy and dry soils, which are really difficult to farm in and to have a good yield and good crop. So not only do we have to deal with sandy and dry soils, but also we have to wrestle with pests and diseases. So some common ones are ants, black beetles, this is a black beetle larvae, and then also snails. And so by cultivating healthy soil, what happens is the microbiology often helps resist and fight against these pests and diseases. And so what you want is to actually activate your microbes, your bacteria, your fungi in your soil, and that all helps cultivate a healthy environment for your crops to get established and produce a good yield. Alright, so now that we have established the fact that we need to actually cultivate healthy soil, now we need to tackle how do we do that. And so often we don't realize that we need to not only feed our crops, but we actually need to feed our soil. And so we do that by introducing organic fertilizers or naturally rich compost, which helps activate the microbes, which helps deposit carbon-rich soil, as well as also introducing natural nutrients. It also develops nutrient deposits in your soil, which your crops or your trees can draw from when needed. And so one of the best ways to establish a healthy environment for your soil is to introduce natural fertilizers because of those nutrient deposits, because it helps actually the soil maintain its moisture content, as well as it establishes and levels out the pH in your soil, which is important so that you don't have an acidic soil, which is harmful to the microbiology, as well as it's harmful to your crops. And so we really want to focus on introducing good natural nutrients to help establish a good environment in your soil. Alright, so now we're going to start preparing our soil, and how we recommend it here at EcoWhizz is applying a mixture of first a little bit of compost and then a solution of fermented molasses, Eco Fish, which is rich in natural NPK, as well as PlantosVerde, which is high in organic calcium. Right, so now I'm going to lightly apply some compost to the soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finally sprinkle it on, and then I'm going to mix it into the ground from there. One of the great benefits to our combo solution is that it drastically reduces the amount of compost that we need to actually introduce into our soil. So it makes it very cost effective when trying to maintain a healthy soil. So it's very straightforward. We're just going to try and mix it into our soil, and from there we're going to apply our liquid fertilizer solution and further mix it in. Alright, so now that we've got our compost mixed into our soil, what we're going to do is we're now going to walk you through how to mix the fertilizer solution, which you can then introduce to the soil. Alright, so I'm just going to walk you through how to mix the solution. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to use a 25 liter drum, but in reality the ratio mix then would be for the Eco Fish 25 liters to 1,250 liters water, and likewise with the molasses. The difference then comes in with PlantosVerde. For a hectare it would be 3 kgs plantos to 1,250 liters of water. So I'm just going to show you quickly, demonstrate how to mix it. So we're going to start off with the fermented molasses, and we're just going to apply that to our water solution. Alright, and because it's equal parts Eco Fish to molasses, I'm going to use the same container, and then also applied. This stuff does have a bit of a smell to it, so you might just want to put your big boy pants on when using the stuff, but it's really not too bad. And then because it's 25 liters, we'll use 25 teaspoons of Plantos. And 25. Alright, so now we're just gonna make sure that we mix it up. So just a heads up, with the PlantosVerde, it does start to settle and cause sediment at the bottom after about an hour and a half. So we would encourage you to use it within an hour and a half of mixing. Alright, so now that we got this mixed up, what we're going to do is now we're just going to pour it onto the soil, and like the compost, we're just going to mix it into the ground. So I'm just going to remove this stuff for us quickly, and then we can start pouring it into the soil. So just keep in mind, this is demonstration purposes only. When applying it, you need to keep those ratios 1,250 liters to a hectare. Alright, so now we're going to get our spade and we're just going to mix it into the soil. From there we're going to start building our beds and we can start planting. So as you can see, we've mixed our Eco Fish, PlantosVerde and Molasses mix into the soil, and we can start making our beds for planting. Now that we got our beds done, we can get ready for planting. So what we're going to do is we've got some herbs and some veggies, some green peppers, some jalapenos, and what we're going to do is we're going to set them out 5 in a row. So let's get that done. Alright, so now in terms of the ratio mix for foliar fertilizer, it would be 10 liters of Eco Fish to every 1,000 liters of water, and it will be the same for the fermented molasses. 10 liters molasses to 1,000 parts water, but with the PlantosVerde mix, it would be 3 kgs to every 1,000 liters of water. And then you would mix that, you would make sure that within an hour and a half you apply it so no sediment forms. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to use 2 liters, and so that would be about 20 mils. So a cap is 10, so we're going to do 2 caps of Eco Fish, 2 caps of molasses, and then 2 teaspoons of Eco or PlantosVerde. Now what you want to do is you want to mix it well and give it a good shake, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start applying it in a fine mist. Alright, so now that we've got our mix ready, it's onto spraying and applying it onto the leaves. So as I mentioned, what you want to do is you want to set your nozzle on a very fine mist so that it's very lightly applied onto the leaves. And for that reason that it works in a nanotechnology. So PlantosVerde basically works as a gateway into the plant directly through the stomata, giving access to the NPK that is in the Eco Fish, as well as the calcium, the sugars that's in the molasses, and that's all there to boost and maintain the health of your plant and your soil. Alright, so as mentioned, very finely and very lightly, just apply to the foliar of your crops. You don't have to worry about any wastage, because whatever fertilizer doesn't land on the plant will just get absorbed into the soil, which will then help establish deposits or like reservoirs of nutrients in the ground which the plant can use when needed. Alright, so now that we've applied our foliar fertilizer, let's move on to watering. So I'd suggest doing this about an hour to 2 hours after or before applying the foliar fertilizer, just so that you don't wash it off the leaves of your plants. But since it's about to rain, we're going to skip that step. But yeah, just keep in mind about an hour to 2 hours before or after applying the foliar fertilizer. Do this once a week for about 12 weeks and you'll be good. Okay, so before we get washed out here, that's it for me. Please follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and you're welcome to get hold of us on our WhatsApp. For any inquiries, we'll be happy to answer you. And if you want to purchase, you can purchase online, or you can get hold of us for EcoFish or PlantosVerde. Thank you.